Hello everybody, welcome to this video. I hope you're all doing well. Carrying on today, I'm really enjoying going through these. It's one of those things that I didn't realise how many I had until we started the series on them, but yeah, so we've got 16 records to show off in this video and 16 to show off in the next one, then we are all done. But yeah, we're just going to carry on with my soundtrack collection on vinyl. It is, by the way, I've called it soundtrack collection, it's mainly horror stuff, you'll pretty much figure that out by now. But if you're a horror fan, if you're a vinyl fan, stick around because there's some really interesting things to show off, including something I'm going to have to immediately cut to a different angle to show off properly, but this is carrying on from Halloween 2 in the last episode. Halloween 3, this was released by Mondo and Death Waltz. It's got all the information that you need on the back there, but the packaging is quite bizarre, so I'm going to cut to a separate angle to show this one off properly. Now, you'll have to excuse me if this is a little bit shaky, but what I've had to do is... You're currently looking through our glass dining table anyway, and I'm probably going to bang my head on the camera, but nevertheless, this is a set that needs to be looked at laid down, because otherwise everything's going to fall out. So, on the front there, obviously we have the artwork. This is the odd one out in the Halloween series, because it's the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in. And for those of you who aren't aware, it's kind of a twisted tale about Halloween capitalism and this this man who makes masks. And there's more to it than that. Admittedly, I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. So, but it's a great film. I think it's very, very underappreciated by the people who just want more of Michael Myers. Nevertheless, Death Waltz and Mondo released this one, and it opens from the back. There's no way to get in around the sides like with a normal record, and we open it by unthinking these two flaps, which open up to reveal a load of nasty insects and bugs, which is a scene from the film that absolutely terrified me when I was a kid. Right, so we open it up further, and this is all stuff that I honestly don't remember was written on the inside, so you'll have to bear with me while I get to grips with what this actually is. There is a dog in here as well who might put his wet nose all over my records. The 80s are not yet become the 80s. Oh, right, so it's a write-up on the film by Tommy Lee Wallace and Kim Newman. So Tommy Lee Wallace this side, Kim Newman this side, and in the set we get these interesting cards, which have the icons of the mask company on them. Oh, well, some of them do. Some of them have more insects. There's the witch. The witch was always my favourite, I think. So yeah, really, to be honest, I don't really know what they are, if they have any reference to the film other than them being the mask icons. But nevertheless, really, really nice to have. This is really thick cardboard as well. It's really nicely put together. Then we lift out what is the record. But first of all, underneath, we have this letter from Silver Shamrock, who are the company in the film who make the masks. And it is instructions on how to perform. Let's have a look. What you need to perform the mind control trick. Oh, it's a magic trick. How to perform the mind control trick. Envelope. Oh, that's really cool. I genuinely, I didn't realise that that's what that was. I thought they were just little inserts. Oh, very nice. Oh, I'm really impressed with that. This isn't the first time I've opened this. It's just been ages since I've looked in it. So yeah, that's really cool. So that is a magic trick that you can do with these cards. Very impressed with that. That's really novel. Right, and then the record itself, which actually, yes, there is a record in here as well, is housed in this inner sleeve with question marks and everything all over it. And inside we have the record, which, yes, it's exactly as I remember. It's on orange and black vinyl, as you can see. Pull it out of there. Those plastic sleeves stop the record getting all staticky. So, hello, you can see me in there. You can see how much my back's hurting doing it from this angle. But yes, this is, as I say, Mondo and Death Waltz on the label there. I have a vague memory of this being printed in like a jack-o'-lantern pressing, you know, where you've got the eyes and the mouth at the bottom. But I'm more than happy with this. This is wonderfully bizarre. And you've got the Silver Shamrock logo on there, who are the company who make the masks in the film. So yeah, that is my... It's probably the most unique release I own on vinyl. There's one coming up later in the next video. Where's the bloody thing for this? Which is... Of course, it's the last side I checked. There we go. Yeah, there's one coming up in the last video, which is very, very novel as well. I believe it's from the same company who made this one. Come on, Mum. But you're going to have to keep guessing as to what that one is, because I'm not going to let it go. But that's another release that really, really impressed me with how... as I was saying before, I really struggled to get that back in. Yeah, it's definitely the most unique release I own. The only other one that comes close will be in the next video, but I'm not going to reveal what that is yet. But packaging-wise, 10 out of 10. Music-wise, obviously John Carpenter, Alan Howarth, synth heaven, beautiful stuff. Really impressed with that one. So that is Halloween 3. Back to something a bit more normal now. We have got Hammer Horror classic themes, 1958 to 1974. This is Silver Screen, who I believe also released my soundtrack of The Fog. And this is just a compilation of the main title themes from Hammer's classic horror period. So you've got things on here, you've got classic stuff like Dracula, The Mummy, but then you've also got some slightly more obscure stuff. You've got The Lost Continent, Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, Dr. Jekyll, Sister Hyde, She. If I was to pick, I'll quickly show the track list in there. If I was to pick a favourite off here, it would probably be the title track to Taste the Blood of Dracula. I think it's a beautiful piece of music. In fact, I feel like I used it in one of my documentaries, and I can't remember which one. It might have been the Andy Milligan one. But yeah, got lots of information about the composers and the filmmakers on the inside. And then I believe this is on green vinyl, if I remember rightly, which, I mean, it's a beautiful piece of vinyl. It's actually a little bit marbly, not that you can see. But I don't know, Hammer Horror, you'd have thought Kensington Gore, they might have stuck with the red, but no, not that I'm complaining. I like a good bit of green vinyl. So that's an interesting one actually, because it's not just the one film, it's more of a compilation. But that is Hammer Horror themes, 1958 to 1974. And then we have got, I'm trying to think how I would describe this one, because it's not a soundtrack in the traditional sense. It is the soundtrack to The Hills Have Eyes. The music is by Don Peake, that's his name. And this is a really weird one. It's by One Way Static again, who did Bogeyman and the Burning that I showed off in the last video. And you'll notice on the back there's a lot of tracks on here. It's just a single record, but there's a lot of tracks. And the reason is because it's more, I don't know how to describe it, sort of studio tinkering. You know, you can hear them nattering away in the background and sort of saying the name of the tracks and everything like that. And each track is usually no longer than, you know, maybe 45 seconds a minute. And you'll know if you've seen the film anyway, the music isn't sort of very prominent. It's mainly sort of bizarre, sparse soundscape, which is kind of what this is. What does that say there? The lucky ones died first. So yeah, it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong, it's just a really strange soundtrack. It's just on black vinyl. I feel like it is. Yeah, The Hills Have Eyes. So I mean, you can see, if I hold it like that, you can see how short the tracks are. Yeah, it's really bizarre. But nevertheless, it's interesting because you can kind of hear how the music was made and the thinking behind it. So yeah, that's not what I was expecting, but nevertheless a really interesting addition to my collection there. So that's The Hills Have Eyes. And then carrying on with Video Nasty, this is The House on the Edge of the Park, a notoriously nasty little movie, directed by Ruggero Deodato, soundtrack by Riz Ortolani. Yes, it is Riz Ortolani. Yeah, it's not one of my favourite movies, but it does have a very nice soundtrack. It's kind of like a revengey, I Spit on Your Grave-esque kind of movie. Yeah, very nasty, but the music is, as most of Riz Ortolani's film music is, very beautiful indeed, including where is it? Do It To Me. That's well, there's a couple of them on here actually that have vocals, but that's the standout track for me. Is it's kind of an actual song rather than just a piece of music. But this was released by Mondo and Death Waltz again, and it's quite short actually. I've just flipped past that there, but there's only 3 tracks on each side, albeit they're fairly lengthy from what I remember. But yeah, in terms of content, it's not the most jam-packed one that I own. Again, just on black vinyl. Nice and heavy this one is as well. It's very shiny. But yeah, it's cool that the Severin release of this film... do you know what? I'm going to put that in afterwards because it's one of those really tight ones. It's cool that the Severin release on the Blu-ray keeps this artwork. In fact, I'm going to grab it quickly. So there's the Blu-ray and the soundtrack side by side. It's nice that they're kind of... there's a consistency. Although I think 88 Films might be releasing this in a slightly better form, so this might not be a particularly long-term addition to the collection, but nevertheless, the soundtrack certainly is.